How much do you need to have saved up to retire on a budget of around $5,500 per month? In this video, we're going to look at that question through the lens of a monthly cash flow planner. It's my firm belief that a solid financial plan in retirement starts with a very detailed discussion around cash flow, laying out what we need to have coming in the door each month so that we can live comfortably and stay comfortably retired. So we're going to start from cash flow, then we're going to work our way into the financial plan. We're going to stress test this financial plan, and we're going to come to an answer regarding how much money we need to have saved up to augment other income sources that we're going to have in retirement, specifically Canada Pension Plan. I'm going to quickly touch on some of the portfolio considerations for this prospective retiree. And at the end of the video, I'm going to talk about how you can get access to a sample financial plan. I'm actually going to create a PDF of the plan that we're going to walk through today. And in the show notes below, there's resources as well that you can get access to the cash flow planning sheet that I'm going to use in today's video. And if we haven't met yet, my name is Mark Walhout. I run an investment advisory and financial planning business called Walhout Financial, and I created this channel to share ideas and concepts that I'm using to help people with retirement every day. If you want to get more videos like these, consider subscribing to the channel. And if you like this video, give it a thumbs up. Leave me any questions or comments below. So we'll start with a quick overview of our prospective retiree couple. They just turned 65 and they're ready to retire. And they've gone to their financial planner, hopefully sometime before the day they decided to retire. And they had a conversation around cash flow. And again, it's my belief that cash flow really is the driving force that we need to be aiming our resources in retirement towards, to make sure that we have enough money coming in on a month-to-month basis so that we can live the lifestyle that we want in retirement. So this is actually the cash flow planner that I use with clients. We're going to step through this and I'm going to show you what this prospective retiree couple or our hypothetical retiree couple came up with for their retirement budget. So it's a fairly simple spreadsheet. It's broken down into a few key areas. We first start with housing. And as we get into the financial plan, we'll see that our prospective couple, they own their home, but they still do have regular ongoing housing expenses, including property taxes, property insurance, utilities, home maintenance costs. This may not show up every month, but let's say a couple times a year, they have to make a change to the house, fix a roof, change a furnace, change an air conditioner, make some changes to landscaping. So we do want to allocate for that in our retirement budget. Cable and internet we include in the housing budget, so we come up with our first subtotal under the housing headline, around $1,500 per month. Food and personal items, again, this is hypothetical, but our hypothetical couple said they spend around $1,000 per month for groceries. They budgeted some money for quick lunches and dinners out. Medication and non-covered medical services. This is an important one. When people leave their employer and they go to retirement, they, in many cases, lose those regular benefits. So things that they may not be used to paying out of pocket for, they may now need to pay out of pocket. So things like non-covered medical procedures, prescriptions, things like that. So we want to have something in the budget. 500 is a number that I think is a reasonable number to start with for, I guess, broad cases. Again, this is hypothetical, but you want to make sure that this matches your particular need and your particular situation. Clothing, cellular phone, fairly straightforward stuff here. So our next subtotal here is $2,150. Then we go to other medical and insurance costs. Dental care. This is one that is another one in retirement that we don't want to lose sight of. You still will want to have your teeth cleaned at least a couple times a year. If there are more expensive dental procedures over and above that, that would be excess to this amount. But we do want to make sure we have something in our budget to cover off dental expenses. Then we move down to vehicles. Even if you own your car, there's going to come a time during your retirement that you're going to need to replace that car. So while you may not spend $500 per month or any regular monthly amount on vehicle payments if you're not leasing or financing the car, we still should plan that there's going to be a vehicle purchase. So we're going to want to have an amount earmarked on a month-to-month basis that either we're not taking from our investments or that we're stuffing away in a high-interest savings account to save up for our upcoming car purchases in retirement. So this sort of first subtotal line is our monthly needs. And so these are sort of the non-compromisable items in a spending plan. If worst came to worst, we would not be able to give up on paying for groceries, paying for utilities, maintaining our house, maintaining our physical selves, maintaining our body through medical, and being able to transport ourselves around. So at a base level, we want to make sure that our monthly needs are taken care of. And for this hypothetical couple, that works out to be around $4,500 per month. Then we move over to the discretionary side of the budget. And here we include things like hobbies, gifts, restaurants, sports equipment, technology, and computers. This is a fairly conservative discretionary budget, $100 per month for gifts. So again, it may not be $100 every month, but on an annual basis, $1,200 for gifts, Christmas gifts for family members, things like that. This is what this hypothetical couple decided on. A couple $100 per month for restaurants if they want to go out for dinner a couple times a month. Like that's what this sort of covers here. Travel, I've put this in as miscellaneous, but let's say they want to take one nice trip per year, the two of them, for $6,000. Like that is a fairly reasonable starting point for a travel budget. So where we land is that we have around $1,000 per month in discretionary spend and grand total cash flow of around $5,500 per month, or $5,500 per month in planned spending that we now use as a starting point to go figure out how do we make this work in the context of the retirement income plan. And a lot of the reason I like to do it this way in terms of a spreadsheet that's kind of itemized, two things. Number one, there's a lot of things that we spend money on that we don't consciously think about every single month that do show up in our spending. And when we're earning an income and we're able to pay the bills every month and we save after we've spent the money that we need to spend, we may not be that thoughtful around all the little things that we spend money on. So I do like an intentional exercise to think about, okay, what do we actually need to spend money on so we don't miss anything? Because adding things in later once you've already retired can be a painful process. The second reason I like this approach is that we've clearly demarcated between I call it keeping the lights on, certainly making sure that we have enough money coming in that we can have our needs taken care of. Then we create a separate line item of spending for discretionary, which we do not want to compromise if we don't have to. But if things got really tough out there, it is an area that we could potentially look at scaling back so that we can maintain our lifestyle in retirement without making too many compromises to the things that are really important to us. So now that we know how much our hypothetical couple needs to have coming in each month in retirement, now we're going to look at their financial plan, look at what other sources of income they're going to have coming in. We're going to stress test the plan, and then we'll be able to figure out how much they need to have saved up in order to make this retirement work for them. So I'm going to go ahead and share my screen. We're going to talk about what other sources they have coming in to help them with their retirement. So the big orange bar across the bottom, what you're noticing here is Canada Pension Plan. So this is a big part of their retirement income plan. We've assumed they're 65 years old. You can see that CPP is not starting for a few years. So we've assumed that they're going to delay taking their Canada Pension Plan until they're age 70. We're going to maximize that benefit. And you'll see that line gently sloping up throughout their retirement. It's because this Canada Pension Plan benefit does go up with inflation throughout their retirement. So we want to maximize that inflation protected annuity income stream that comes from Canada Pension Plan throughout their retirement. They're also going to have old age security, which is another big part of their plan. It's this lighter blue element here. And we're going to start old age security right away. Now, this is not a recommendation. I am a fan of delaying Canada Pension Plan if you are in good health, if we have a good reason to think you're going to live a long life to maximize that inflation adjusted benefit. For some people and for some plans, taking old age security doesn't deliver as much benefit. So maybe they want to take that as soon as possible. So we have that starting at age 65. Then the rest of the income sources in this plan are coming from investments. So the green bar here is money coming out of registered accounts, and then minimums coming out from RIFs as we work through retirement, and then also money coming from tax-free savings accounts. So you'll see here that as we look at their retirement paycheck and also their retirement net worth, a couple other things. The first big thing is that the answer to the question, how much do we need to have saved up for retirement, still has them with some money left over at the end of retirement. You can see there's still money in their tax-free savings accounts and some money left in their RIFs. And the reason why this is the case is because we stress tested this plan against different market outcomes. Just because we assume, based on the assumptions we make in the plan, that investments are going to return around 5% or just over 5% per year, that doesn't mean that the market is going to cooperate with us and give us that 5% return every single year. So we're going to want to stress test this plan. I'm going to show you that in a moment. The other big assumption that we've made in this plan, our hypothetical couple said they want to live in their house indefinitely. They don't want to downsize. They don't see themselves wanting to downsize now. They reserve the right to make that decision later, but for right now, they like where they live. They like their community. Friends and family are close by. They'd like to stay in the house as long as possible. So we have not assumed that they're going to downsize in retirement. And I've spoken about downsizing on this channel before. I think that for the right situations, it makes sense. But by and large, my experience with people who are retired is that they generally like to stay where they are. And so if we believe that selling a home is going to be a windfall for us in retirement, that everybody's going to want to do it and be okay with it. The experience that I've had doesn't tell me that. It tells you that if people retire in a certain place, they generally like to stay. But of course, they're going to reserve that right for later. This is still a big part of their net worth. It's the largest part of their net worth as they move through retirement. We've assumed that this particular couple's house is worth about $1 million right now, and we assume that that'll gently rise over time as well in terms of value, but we've left it alone as far as liquidating it for augmenting our retirement income. So we talked about stress testing the plan, and that's a really important part of making sure that what we're building out here makes sense and is sustainable over our 30-year retirement. So our retiree couple is 65 years old now. We expect they're going to live to age 95. But just because our plan says we believe that a portfolio of around 60% equities and 40% fixed income, which is sort of our starting point for this portfolio, just because we think that's going to return for us that amount throughout retirement doesn't mean that it's going to do that every single year. Anyone with lived experience in the market over the past few years knows that portfolios, even balanced portfolios, can be quite volatile. So we use the software to simulate for us, how does our plan hold up over all sorts of different market environments, whether good or bad. And what we're looking at here in the top part of the chart, green is a good sign, but it shows that in the majority of different scenarios, good scenarios and even very, very bad scenarios, even if this plan encountered some really difficult periods of returns in the early part of the retirement, for the most part, the plan looks pretty good. They do start to see more of their scenarios fail once they get to around age 88, age 90. But there's still enough of these scenarios in our trials that appear to be successful that if this retiree couple said they wanted to forge ahead with this plan, that I'd feel comfortable with that. And the idea here would be, or the conversation would be, look, if we get to, we're going to continue to monitor this plan and update it. So if these trials and these tests start to show us different or worse results, that might require us then to start making some decisions. Like we're on a course where maybe the plan doesn't succeed in as many scenarios when we get to age 90. Maybe we should make an adjustment. We would make that adjustment earlier in retirement. We would not wait until that really bad outcome sort of came home to roost. So if that retiree couple or hypothetical couple was comfortable with that approach, we would sort of start there. The alternate would be, of course, if we did have this really bad run of returns and we get to sort of that age 85, age 90 point in their life and retirement income is not sufficient, that might then be a place where this couple says, you know what, maybe we will downsize the house or find other ways to access the equity in the house to supplement our retirement needs. So now we've identified how much monthly cash flow we need coming in. We've identified other sources of income that we're going to have in retirement. Now, the ultimate question, how much do we need to have saved up in this particular retiree couple's case? So we'll go over here to the plan, and the amount that they needed to have saved up to get us to this result was around $700,000. And the way that we split that out was around $300,000 in each of their RRSPs and $50,000 in their tax-free savings accounts. So the question of how much do we need to have saved up in order to create an income of $5,500 in after-tax spending throughout retirement? The answer in Johnny and Janie's case, they're 65 years old. We expect they're going to live to age 95. They're going to have old age security, Canada pension plan coming in, and they don't plan to downsize their house. For a balanced portfolio of about 60% in equities, 40% in fixed income, they require about $700,000 saved up to bring that retirement to fruition. Now, this is again, I keep saying hypothetical because that's just what it is. This is a simulation. No one's plan is going to follow this exact sort of cookie cutter approach, but my hope is to sort of walk you through like a sequence how we should approach this question. It should be, how much do I need to spend, or how much do I desire to spend to live a life that I'm comfortable with, that's meaningful to me, and that is sustainable over a 30-year retirement. And then it's going to look at what other resources do I have in order to generate that income for me, including Canada pension plan, old age security. Then we can start to look at, hey, am I there yet? Have I got enough saved up for retirement? And in a lot of cases, when we run these plans, the answer is yes. Not only do we have enough, but we probably have more. And that can create other opportunities in terms of other ways that you can use your money in retirement for either your own experiences or maybe to help others in your family. And if we fall short, then we open up other conversations about potentially maybe working longer, working part-time. Downsizing then may become a conversation. Again, it's not sort of our default mode, but maybe we do have a conversation about that. And of course, every situation is different. There's always different elements in a financial plan that could change these numbers. But again, I hope that you found this to be helpful as sort of a starting point. Now, in terms of what I've included in the show notes below, the cash flow planner that I showed you, I've put that below. This draft plan, this is not a financial plan. This is a projection. A financial plan will include more customized advice in the areas of retirement planning, tax planning, estate planning, risk management, and investment management. But in terms of the projections, the net worth statement, how cash flow will look, I've included this for your convenience and for you to take a look at in the notes below. And this is sort of an indication of what parts of a financial plan look like for clients of my firm. If you're interested in reaching out and having a conversation about how well you're situated for retirement, I've included a link in the description below where you can book some time on my calendar. If you prefer to just maybe have me send you something that is applicable to your situation, I've also included a survey that you can fill that out. It's called the How Much Do I Need to Retire survey. And it asks some very basic, high-level questions about where you're at today. You can ask me any questions you want, and I'll send you back a very quick personalized video within about 10 days to give you just sort of a point in the right direction. And hopefully you find that to be helpful. Thanks for watching this video all the way to the end. If you like it, give it a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel if you want to get more videos like these. Thanks for watching, and I'll speak with you soon. Take care.